official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
Just noticed a person doing the official World Cup coverage is Australian. Australia's out. We should have got the Russians to do it, shouldn't we? Anyway, welcome along. Our next two matches are right here. Serbia versus Brazil is the live coverage with updates from Switzerland and Costa Rica. So this afternoon's 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock games. Hard break for Germany. Germany out. And Korea Republic out as well. Korea Republic 2. Germany 0. Mexico and Sweden go through after Sweden beating Mexico 3-0. It's gonna be another tight one in Groups F. No. In Groups E as well, Brazil 4 points, 2 goal difference. Switzerland is second with 4 points, 1 goal difference. Serbia 3 with 0 goal difference, and -3 Costa Rica with no points. So Costa Rica cannot go through. However, Serbia can still go through if they lose to Brazil and Costa Rica lose to Switzerland. Is how the gameplays are playing for this one. So Korea is all here. So let's go straight to it then, and let's get Serbia versus Brazil and updates on Costa Rica and Switzerland. Let's go!
The World Cup 2014 in Brazil. This is SJ Radio.
On a day when the world champions Germany have crashed out of the World Cup, Brazil here cannot afford another stuttering performance.
I think they know that. I think they were well aware of that before, and if they weren't, they are now after finding out what happened to the German team. It can happen to anyone at this World Cup. This is not a poor Serbian side. This is a well-organised, well-structured Serbian side, and they will work incredibly hard, and they will have belief in themselves as well. They'll be disappointed the fact that they lost a win they thought was a win against Switzerland. We're 1-0 up, and they threw that one away. So they're fighting, and they believe themselves that they're capable of doing that. Two phenomenally different styles, and I agree with you about the yellow strips. Brazil should always play in yellow, even when they're playing against Sweden.
Well, this is the situation in Group E. Brazil are top with 4 points. Switzerland are second with 4 points. Serbia are third, just a point behind Costa Rica, who are playing against Switzerland in Nizhny Novgorod. Forget them, they're out of the equation, but they might well have a role to play. Brazil need a point, Switzerland need a point, Serbia need a victory. Whether we can match the drama of Germany earlier on, and I've never ever seen a media centre react the way that it did as we watched the closing stages when Germany conceded those goals to South Korea. Everybody, it seemed, was celebrating. But the World Cup surely needs a Brazil in the knockout stages.
You know, if they're not good enough, they're not good enough. That's what I'm going to say to you. And, you know, the Germans weren't good enough on that occasion. We know they are good enough for Brazilians, but will they show it tonight?
Well, we're about to find out. We're underway. BBC Radio 5 Live. We're live in the Spartak Stadium. The yellow and the red under the clear blue skies on a very, very pleasant evening here in the capital of Russia. We've had the drama with Argentina last night. We've had a major story with Germany going out, and now Brazil. The boys from Brazil need to perform against a Serbian side that will, one would imagine, pose much more of a threat. Back with Alisson, the goalkeeper, to Miranda. It was Marcelo in their opening game. It was then Thiago Silva who captained them against Costa Rica. And now Miranda has the captain's armband as Tite is in his technical area, in his suit, as is Mladen Krstajic, the Serbian coach, and Marcelo is quickly tackled and it goes out of play. And you've sometimes, Pat, I keep taking my headphones off just to experience the noise. It's such a din.
Yeah, and it's kind of just kept on going. You know, sometimes after the anthems it calms down a bit. It hasn't calmed down yet. Brazil are constantly on the ball at the moment. But what Tim Vickers was saying before the game is very noticeable. Physically, there is a massive difference between these two teams, particularly right in front of us. We've got a little bit, we're in line with the Brazil attack here. and they're bordering on tiny next to the Serbians.
Kolarov goes back to Matic in the centre of midfield. Matic is going to come under pressure from Paulinho. Wagner then just got himself in front of his man to win the ball. That was ahead of as Neymar will come forward. Neymar still going. Neymar's there to the penalty area. Comes to Coutinho, gets the shot away. Block, flags up on the far side.
Well, it's his first real chance to run with the ball, and he looked pretty confident to me. When I watched him walk out, because you can't help, he's a bit like Ronaldo. You have to look at him when he walks out, and he looks as if he was limping with both feet. But this is his opportunity, first opportunity, and he explodes into action, and he drags it from the right-hand side this time, and it led to, well, half an opportunity.
The Serbian supporters chant. There's a large bulk of white and red away to our left-hand side. They're quickly drowned out by the yellow shirts, who outnumber them here in the Spartak Stadium. 0-0, BBC Radio 5 Live. We'll keep you in touch as well with the other game, Switzerland against Costa Rica. Willian on that far side, the right, can't get past Kolarov, wins the ball, Kolarov. Referee though says that'll be a free kick as Willian gets to his feet. Free kick to Brazil, 10 minutes inside their own half. Let's get an update from the tennis, shall we, with Russell Fuller.
Victory for Carl Edmund. He's beaten Andy Murray for the first time in his career, 6-4, 6-4 to reach the quarterfinals of Eastbourne, able to impose his powerful game and held his nerve as Murray came back strongly towards the end.
Thank you, Russell. And Wimbledon, remember, starts next Monday. You'll get the same wall-to-wall coverage from Wimbledon from the BBC as you have, hopefully, been getting from here, from our team out in Russia at this World Cup 2018. Coutinho to Neymar. Neymar forward, flag stays down. Jesus in the penalty area, saved by the legs of the goalkeeper. Coutinho stabbed wide by Neymar. Now the flag is raised.
Well, it's beyond me why the flag wasn't raised in the first place. It looked miles off to me. I may have been wrong, but when the ball was played through, well, I say miles, it was only 3 yards offside. That would, if that had gone on the net, it would have been definitely pushed towards the VAR. No shadow of a doubt about that. But how quick did they look on the break? They look lightning on the break, Brazil. We may well have the real Brazil tonight, but remember, they've started well in other games and then faded.
But they do look much sharper, slicker operation. We've only been playing for 4 minutes as Serbia go downfield. They were looking there for a free kick, and one is awarded on this near side for Brazil, who play from right to left as we look here. BBC Radio 5 Live, 0-0, 4 minutes played. Brazil coming into this top and avoid defeat, and they will go through. The winners play Mexico in Samara on Monday. The runners-up take on Sweden in St. Petersburg. So, depending on where they finish, your little hope that they should always play in yellow against Sweden might well be brought to the test, but we shall see.
Well, it's been interesting, first of all, about the Serbians. You know, the changes they've made. Branislav Ivanovic not playing, and Tosic not playing. Had those two played in the back line along with Kolarov, the average age really at 33. So I think they made a good decision there.
Kolarov tries to go around Willian. Willian leads into him. That'll be a free kick. There's been a wicket at the cricket to Edgbaston. Ellie Oldroyd.
Well, Just Buttler has been in absolutely magnificent form over the last couple of weeks. He's done it again for England. Hit 61 off just 30 balls, England's fastest ever at T20 50. But he's out 95 for 1. England are, with Jason Roy still there on 34. You can listen to commentary over on Test Match Special on 5 Live Sports Extra.
Thanks, Ellie. Free kick taken by Kolarov, floated forward off the chest of Mitrovic, bounced a little bit too far away from the Newcastle striker, and Coutinho to Miranda out to this near side. They try and press to Serbia, but Brazil work it through the midfield, and Paulinho gives it away. It's played forward. Lajic out towards Tadic on this near side. Tadic gets away from the sliding Marcelo. Tadic then comes on the inside of Miranda. Paulinho has to cover. They keep the ball in play to Brazil, still inside their own penalty area, and Thiago Silva gets it out from underneath his feet. Casemiro out from underneath his feet and clears it up towards Jesus. Tadic, by the way, has been confirmed. They had reached agreement with Ajax, but Ajax have confirmed he will be moving back to Holland. Dusan Tadic leaving Southampton at the and confirmation will be after this World Cup. He will become officially an Ajax player. Dusan Tadic, who plays on the right-hand side as Willian runs into trouble. Ball breaks forward. This is Lajic out towards Tadic. He provides the quality. He could provide a threat right-hand side. Rukavina makes the run. Rukavina strikes Casemiro's head. It's going to come out to Tadic. Plays it in high towards the far post. Had it back towards Mitrovic. Dealt with. Thick header then by Willian. And that was Thiago Silva, who had a crashing thud to the floor as he dealt with the aerial threat and landed rather awkwardly. He stayed down. It's 0-0. We're live in Moscow. Pat Nevin. Yeah, I think what he's suggesting there, that Mitrovic has made it back for him. I don't think Mitrovic has actually held his line there. I mean, he's not done it. He's not jumped. He's just stood there. So it's not really his fault. I think he's been harshly treated there, Mitrovic. Brazil need at least a point. That's the same equation for Switzerland. They're taking on Costa Rica. Vicky Sparks.
0-0, but Costa Rica have hit the post. The Swiss goalkeeper Sommer touching a header from Borges onto the woodwork. He's made a good save from Campbell as well. Both sides have had half a penalty shout for handball, turned down by the referee. Switzerland 0, Costa Rica 0. A point will take Switzerland through. Goalless here. Marcelo. He stopped as he's received the ball. Is he not happy with the pressure of the ball? I wonder, is someone injured? They're coming over to have a look at Marcelo just now. He's talking to the coaching staff, Marcelo, but as soon as he received it, he wasn't happy. And he almost apologised as he put the ball out of play. I do wonder, it's hard to see. Him and Neymar, they both look really, really poor in that last attack. The Tadic went by them as if they didn't exist. The referee's going over. It's actually Marcelo. Yeah. He's going to have a word with Marcelo. I wonder what's wrong. It's hard to tell what's wrong with him. He's not giving much away. The referee's actually saying to him, look, if you're not fit, you're going to have to leave the field of play. Tite now is getting Jesus. Play. So Brazil are being forced into a change. But Marcelo, well, he's still on the field. And they're going to be forced into a change, and it's going to be Felipe. But Marcelo, remember they're also missing Danilo and Douglas Costa through injury, but Marcelo, he's pulled something because he can't continue. And he's hiding it pretty well. It's very, very, you usually can tell just by the way a player's walking. He's basically walking very slowly just now, and he's dragging his right leg, so no idea really what it is. But then Felipe Luis, he's not a bad replacement. I think he's a very good player. Little flicks between Coutinho and Neymar. Passed the ball out as he wriggled free to Coutinho. Keeps the ball in play on the left-hand side. It's still goalless. No goals in the other game either. This is Coutinho. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Casemiro midway through the Serbia half to Miranda. Across towards Wagner, the right back. Willian comes short. Felipe Luis is continuing to warm up, and the ball goes out of play, and now that substitution can be made. And Marcelo comes off as there's been another wicket at the cricket. Eleanor. And England's prolific opening partnership between Jos Buttler and Jason Roy finished with Jos Buttler out for 61 and Jason Roy now out for 44. Court Finch bowled Stanlake, 108 for 2 England at the moment. And 10. So it's been a pretty successful start in the sunshine. We've just seen 4 overthrows from Australia, which just about sums up their summer in England so far. Neymar over the halfway line. Commentary of the cricket continues on Sports Extra. Felipe Luis the substitute. An early change after 10 minutes to replace Marcelo. Here is Felipe Luis getting a few early touches with his long hair, the Alice band. Former Chelsea left back, of course. Back with Atletico Madrid. Ball threaded through by Neymar. And as Jesus puts his right hand up to acknowledge the pass, it was easily dealt with and scooped up by Vladimir Stojkovic. I think Felipe Luis, I watched him a lot of his time at Chelsea. Really unfortunate, really unlucky, and I would suggest even unfairly dealt with. I think he's a fabulous football player. He just happens to have the best left back in the world ahead of him, and that's why he's not going to again for Brazil. But he doesn't let the team down much here. I think he's just as likely to go forward as the manager placed. Here is Coutinho, 2 goals in this tournament so far, finds Neymar left-hand side, quickly closed down by Tadic. He waits for some support, it'll come from Felipe Luis, drags away Rukavina with him as a result of that. Then it's Coutinho who goes back in field. Wagner, the right back, was tucked into a central area. He then bombs on the outside of Willian, but he's caught there, and he was caught by Kostic, and now maybe Serbia can attack because there was a gap that they looked to try and exploit because Wagner had gone forward, and in fact They've been given away a free kick, and that'll be a free kick to Serbia. Kostic did well.
I felt quite sorry for Willian in the first game, or the second game actually, because he didn't get any of the ball and he gets substituted at half time. But he's had a really poor start to this third game, giving the ball away 2 or 3 times, and he's ended up, his second touch has generally been a tackle.
Marcelo is being helped off with a coaching assistant either side of him, holding his hands and just trying to keep him up as he grimaces, really in pain as he makes his way down the tunnel. Free kick floated across, Alisson comes and punches it away. Matic was the player putting him under pressure, but Alisson, the bearded goalkeeper, kept his eyes on that one and fisted it to safety.
Well, he's going to have to come out and attack at them, because I mean the height advantage that the Serbians have got is absolutely huge. However, looking at him at that time, he completely misread the flight of the ball and was lucky to be able to adapt his positioning.
Veljkovic, formerly a Tottenham youth player, one of the 3 changes made by Mladen Krstajic, the Serbian coach, flicked on by Mitrovic, headed away by the bald-headed Miranda. Mitrovic rises in the air, loses out to Casemiro. Matic now in the centre circle, still 0-0. This would be enough for Brazil, but boy, we've had some drama in the last 24 hours here in Russia. Ball played forward, referee's blown his whistle.
I think it's had an effect on Brazil, Marcelo going off. It's just shaking him a little bit. He's such an important part of that team. And even though I believe that Filipe Luís will do very, very well, it still is a big player to go out your team, big personality to go out your team. So they've kind of slowed down a little bit. However, here's Luís in the ball and he'll go and start attacking.
Filipe Luís to Jesus. He loses out. Run back though by Serbia. Rukavina will play long. Mitrovic will try and get onto that and heads it into the path of Tadic, but it bounces out of play. So it will be a Brazil throw-in. It's 0-0 here in Moscow. What about the other game in Group E, Vicky?
0-0 between Switzerland and Costa Rica, but Costa Rica already out, have hit the woodwork again, twice in the opening 13 minutes. A thunderous shot just outside the penalty area from Daniel Calandras, crashing off the bar. He's never scored for Costa Rica. My word, that would have been some goal. As it stands though, a draw will be enough to take Switzerland through. 0-0.
Casemiro sliced his clearance. Filipe Luís will head it away, brought down by Lajic, plays the ball into Milinkovic-Savic, shot then fired in by Kostic, which Alisson has tried to keep in play. Did take a deflection as it spun away from the goal, but he was unable to keep that ball in play. And Serbia now, and Pat, you talk about the physical presence that they have. This is going to be a test as they have a corner.
Yeah, big change since that substitution was made. Just they've sat back a little bit, Brazil, and this is now a corner kick after the free kick, which looked dangerous before.
Corner comes in from Kolarov. It's an outswinger headed on by Mitrovic, still on the edge of the penalty area. Brazil can't get it away. Kostic to Lajic. Lajic now out towards Kolarov, far side to left, all in red, playing from left to right. BBC Radio 5 Live. No goals here and no goals between Switzerland and Costa Rica. As it stands, Brazil and Switzerland are going through, and Serbia then go all the way back to Stojkovic in goal. Stojkovic takes his time, right-footed. Again, the target is Mitrovic. Rukavina heads it to Tadic, then comes on the overlap. Gives a little bit of time for Tadic, who then rolls it in field to Matic. Matic midway through the Brazil half. It's still very, very tight. It could all change with one goal in this game or another goal in Nizhny Novgorod. As Kostic, left-hand side, works over the cross. Mitrovic waits. Mitrovic brings the ball down. Brazil will clear. Neymar now maybe has space to run into. Rukavina was forward. Rukavina's desperate to get back. Neymar's over the halfway line. He's being booed and cheered by the Serbian support as Neymar goes in field. Paulinho, Coutinho pops it across towards the far side. Willian, 25 yards out from goal, goes down the right-hand side, works over the cross, behind for a goal kick, 0-0. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, he does the right thing there when the ball finally comes to Willian. I think he wanted the ball maybe 10 seconds before that. They tried to break very quickly, but it was very clear that the Serbians are well drilled there. There were 4 Brazilians attacking, but there were 6 Serbians back lightning quick as soon as they lost the ball there. So even though it looked like a really interesting break, and always does when Neymar's on the ball, I wasn't too worried for Serbia on that occasion.
The Serbian supporters are outnumbered here in this Spartak Stadium, but if you've ever experienced a game in Serbia, which I have in Belgrade, you will know that they are a vociferous bunch, and they are certainly making a racket as they're trying to out-sing the Brazilian supporters. It's 0-0. BBC Radio 5 live in Russia. Willian comes in field, edge of the centre circle, diagonal ball cut out. Lajic picks it up for Serbia, lays it out towards Kolarov. Kolarov is forward, he's almost midway through the Brazil half. The Serbian captain then has some support. Lajic sees a space, darts into it. Miranda steps forward and prevents the ball from reaching Mitrovic. Neymar midway through his own half. Felipe Luis, an early substitute. They had named an unchanged side, but Marcelo's gone off injured. Here is Felipe Luis.
Well, it's strange how you kind of know exactly what they're going to do, the Brazilians. They're going to try and manipulate it so they can try and get Neymar on the ball. Everything else seems completely and utterly secondary, and it puts so much pressure on Neymar, and he ends up getting marked by 2 and 3 players, and he has to do something extra special every time he gets the ball. You'd like to actually see Paulinho and Casemiro get a little bit more time in the midfield there, hold the ball up and let spaces be dragged left and right. At the moment it's not happening quite enough for Brazil.
Jesus to Coutinho, forward ball, Paulinho making the run, gathered in by Stojkovic. Whilst you were talking there, Pat, Coutinho came across to this near side, the Brazilian left, to have a word with Tite, the Brazilian coach. So he's got some tactical instructions across towards him. We'll wait to see how that unfolds.
It seems a barren expanse in the midfield there, as far as the Brazilians are concerned. Like, they don't want to play through the midfield, they want to just get it wide and get it to their men up front. And to be honest, it's Brazil, you should be wanting everybody on the ball because every single player can play.
Free kick awarded in favour of Brazil. It was Milinkovic Savic was the player who has been penalised, the Lazio midfielder. He's the one who's dropped a little bit further back alongside Nemanja Matic in this Serbia side after they made the 3 changes. But it's 0-0. Miranda, Felipe Luis finds Neymar just on the near touchline, the left for Brazil. Felipe Luis, a curling ball that goes away from Thiago Silva, and Fagner now to Thiago Silva, who strokes it in field. Neymar is unmarked at the moment on this left-hand side. Coutinho's pushed up alongside Jesus as Felipe Luis finds Neymar over the halfway line. Near side, yellow shirts, blue shorts, playing from right to left. Neymar on the halfway line, looks for a ball forward. Paulinho again was the one who was making the run, headed away by the Serbian defence. That was Velkovic, picked up by Willian, back to Fagner. Fagner now to Willian on that far side, the right, diagonal ball, Paulinho. Paulinho now plays it in low, cut out by Velkovic, headed behind by Kolarov. Corner kick to Brazil, goalless.
Do you know what, you spotted? They come over and had a word with Tite there, because they had to change something in that midfield. Nothing happening in there. Since we said that, Paulinho's got forward twice, and it's made one hell of a difference to the way all the other players are in there and playing. It's really livened up Brazil.
Corner taken short, they've rolled it back to Neymar, he's standing still. It's almost somebody pressed the pause button there. You won't pause when Coutinho's on the ball. Ball chipped into the penalty area. Neymar right hand side, Neymar can't get a shot of goal. The Serbian defence had 9 outfield players, all in red, packed into their penalty area. Kostic will try and bring it away. Sliding challenge made by Fagner. Kostic hangs on to the ball and then spreads it out to Rukavina. There really is something riding on this game, and everybody inside this stadium knows about it. As Matic gets caught in possession, Felipe Luis, he's helped out by Milinkovic Savic, and Rukavina will play it away to safety for Serbia. Goalless. Mitrovic always tries with a little flick-ons. Miranda out to Fagner on the right back. Willian's made the run, he tries to find him. Velkovic with his tight curly hair will head it away, and Kolarov tidies up back towards Stojkovic.
Do you know what? The big thing is noticeable in the midfield. There is very, very little space. We were talking there about who's going to sit back a little bit, and it's Milinkovic Savic, as you mentioned there. He sat back alongside Matic. Now you've got to say well done to them two. I mean, they're 2 very, very tall lads there, but they've made it very tight in there, and they've got very close to the likes of Coutinho. So Brazil really haven't get the passing game going at all, because they've been closed in so quickly.
Kolarov left hand side. Ball played out towards Kostic by Mitrovic. Kostic waits, Fagner slides in, the ball goes behind for a corner. No goals in this game. No goals between Switzerland and Costa Rica, so nothing has changed. Brazil still top of Group E, Switzerland behind them. Serbia are just a point behind those two though, so it's extremely tight on a day when the world champions Germany have crashed out of the World Cup. Corner kick, Serbia, far side the left. It's an in-swinger. Alisson goes to punch it with both hands. It comes out to Rukavina, the right back, plays it forward to Tadic. Felipe Luis is with him, tries to spin away from him, down by the corner flag, has support. Matic, right-hand side of the penalty area. Rukavina's first-time cross, drops just outside the penalty area. Kostic tries to head it on. Jesus is back there, and he will volley the ball away from that back line, and it actually comes back towards Jesus, who is able to turn and able to come forward. Paulinho, Casemiro looks up, centre circle, Willian lays it off to Coutinho, and Brazil are over the halfway line. Still goalless here in the Spartak Stadium. Felipe Luis to Coutinho, back with Casemiro in the centre circle. There's the boos and the jeers from the strong Serbian support, because the Brazilians have the ball and look comfortable with it, but they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, one of the first times they've not actually gone and pushed on at all. The Serbians have said, right, okay, we're not going to take any chances here. We've got everyone behind the ball, and there's just no space whatsoever. You know, 4 at the back, 2 sitting in front of him, very little space.
Coutinho, footwork doesn't help him out on this occasion. He's caught in possession by Lajic. Tadic tries to play it forward, takes a bit of a deflection. Mitrovic will give Miranda a little shove in the back, because Miranda got there first, back towards Alisson. The possession stats, 54% to Serbia, 46 to Brazil. Crucial stat is still Serbia 0, Brazil 0, and no goals between Switzerland and Costa Rica. Remember, Serbia need a win.
You know, it's a really interesting game of chess here, isn't it? No, it actually doesn't look at the moment as if Brazil are going to break down that defence, but we know it just needs one moment of genius, one moment where that Serbian defence turns off. But at the moment, they are brilliantly drilled just now. They're all working really hard for each other, and as we keep on saying, that back 4 line is directly in front of us, about 30 yards in front of us, and they are static. They will not budge from that position. And Nemanja Matic, to be honest, he's done a great job right in front of that. He's having to spend a lot of time chasing after Paulinho now, who's pushing forward. But someone's going to have to break that line if Brazil are going to do something.
When I say Serbia need a win, by the way, that's to keep it in their own hands. There is a scenario where a draw might be enough, but then they will be dependent on Switzerland losing by more than 1 goal. And at the moment, they're still 0-0 with Costa Rica. Goalless here in the Spartak Stadium. Felipe Luis to take a throw in on this near side, the left. Looks to Jesus. Neymar got a touch back towards Felipe Luis. Forward short ball to Neymar. Neymar running back towards the halfway line. Tries to switch play. Wagner brings it under control just outside the centre circle. Willian now on that right hand side. They go back to Thiago Silva in the centre circle to Felipe Luis. Jesus wants the ball to feet. Here he is, takes it on the turn. Neymar now links up with him. Neymar gets away, edge of the area. Jesus left hand side. Jesus tries to get it back towards Neymar. It wriggles its way through to Neymar and across the face of goal and cleared away by Kolarov.
I just wonder if it hit the post there when the goalkeepers went flying over the left hand side with a difficult angle for Neymar, but the intricate little work there with Gabriel Jesus and Neymar was absolutely brilliant. There didn't seem to be any space. In fact, there wasn't any space. Actually, it's a great save by the goalkeeper. Fabulous save by the goalkeeper.
Jesus is down at the moment for Brazil, who've already lost Marcelo. Danilo and Douglas Costa are both absent. The thing is, though, I don't think it was going anyway. It was arcing its way
towards
away from
the post.
goal.
Towards the post. I would agree with you there. But it's one of those ones, had it hit the post, you don't know where it's going to land. It might come back out to a yellow shirt there, and Jesus went down. I mean, he's looking sharp, he's looking lively, Gabriel Jesus, but it does create a problem because he's not the very best at holding the ball up against 2 big centre backs, and we know that Firmino's a little bit better at that. And against Costa Rica, I think it made a massive difference to them when Firmino came on, and they opened up so many more gaps, and we know Firmino's an absolutely brilliant player as well.
Jesus is getting treatment at the moment. I think it's with his left foot or his left ankle. Neymar's just checking to make sure he's okay. He is now on his feet, a hobbling Gabriel Jesus. Let's check in on the other game, Switzerland-Costa Rica. Vicky Sparks.
Well, it's goalless, which would be enough for Switzerland, but Costa Rica, who are already out, are much the better side. They've hit the woodwork twice. Brian Oviedo, the latest to go close again for them. A shot saved by Somers. Switzerland 0, Costa Rica 0.
Thanks, Vicky. Yep, as it stands, both Brazil and Switzerland are going through from Group E. The winners will take on Mexico. The runners-up will face Sweden, after Germany will create the headlines after the holders bow out. And
I tell you what, they're going to lose the headlines if Brazil go out as well.
Imagine that. Jesus is running freely now on this near side. He's got his boot back on his left foot, and he's going to be able to continue. He'll be coming back onto the field of play. The referee gives him the say-so. So Jesus is back on there, back to their full complement of 11. The yellow shirts of Brazil. We've been playing for 27 minutes. BBC Radio 5 Live. Tomorrow, of course, England against Belgium. Both sides already through. It's who tops the group as Wagner comes forward for Brazil to Coutinho midway through the Serbia half. Coutinho out towards Neymar. A stretching, sliding Neymar can't keep the ball in play. We've already heard from Gareth Southgate. You'll get a flavour from Kaliningrad from Rachel Burden. The breakfast show building up from 6 o'clock. We'll then have Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast show again at 8:30, and then of course the commentary from 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Group G, John Murray and Chris Waddle, on a day when the last 16 lineup will be completed. Before that, from 3, Japan, Poland, and we'll also have commentary of Senegal against Colombia. But Germany have gone. Brazil at the moment are going through, but it's still 0-0. Felipe Luis back towards Miranda. Tite patrolling his technical area. And across to Wagner on that far side as Kostic goes towards him. They've had that effort from Neymar. Willian's now gone down.
Yeah, it's just consistent. The amount of times that in this tournament, the amount of times players have had their feet trodden on and they've gone down for it. And I'm maybe going to ask myself the questions: is it actually deliberate now with the players that are doing it? That's another one. It's a thing that used to happen once every 20 games. It's happened 2 or 3 times in every single game at the moment. Surely it can't be a fluke.
Miranda, the captain for the night. Felipe Luis to Neymar, just over the halfway line. Remember, Neymar was overcome with emotion when he got that goal in the 97th minute in St. Petersburg to get the 2-0 victory as Jesus stays on side, makes a well-timed run. Jesus now into the penalty area. Jesus steadies himself, checks back onto his right foot, and it was an outstretched right foot by Milinkovic that takes the ball behind for a corner kick.
For all the talk of brilliant defending and working as a unit from the Serbian defence there, what on earth are they thinking about there? They go and try and push themselves up and play a high line for the first time in the game and monumentally fail doing so. Nearly threw away a chance.
Corner taken short on this left-hand side. Coutinho to Neymar. Coutinho takes it on the turn, edge of the area, can't get a sight of goal. Mitrovic gave him a little nudge, ball played in too deep. Too heavy from Thiago Silva, and it sails out of play for a goal kick. But how quick were Serbia to close down Coutinho?
Yeah, they were quick to do that, I'll grant you that, but what on earth were they thinking about beforehand? I mean, that's not a complicated ball that Neymar played through there. You know, Gabriel Jesus he just picks himself off the centre-back, the right centre-back, runs at a slight arc, nothing complicated about it at all. He almost finds himself 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper with no effort at all. Startled by the fact that they turned off that easily, the Serbian defence, who have been so good up until now.
When we did Russia the other night against Uruguay, we said that there was no jeopardy on that game because both sides are through. You know, the knockout stage effectively starts here because there is real jeopardy in this Group E, because Serbia are pushing for the victory. Brazil, well, they wouldn't want to take any chances against the Serbian side. Lajic to Casemiro. Coutinho goes back. Thiago Silva out towards Wagner on that far side. Gains quite a high line. Neymar's on this near side, the left. Thiago Silva, though, won't play a ball over the top. Instead, he'll go back to Miranda. Felipe Luis plays it forward. Coutinho won't get there. That was dealt with by Milinkovic. Here is Mitrovic. Puts his head bravely towards the feet of Thiago Silva. Now, that wasn't a high boot by Thiago Silva. That was just Alexander Mitrovic being brave and being typically him.
Yeah, to be fair, you know, if you're a defender, you're actually arguing that that's not a free kick, because you're right, his boot isn't particularly high.
Now hold on, there's been a goal
in Nizhny Novgorod. Watching Switzerland-Costa Rica, Vicky Sparks.
Completely against the run of play, Switzerland have the lead. It's Gemayli. The ball breaks to him inside the penalty area and he smashes it into the net from 6 yards. As things stand, that would take Switzerland through as group winners. As I say, it is completely against the run of play. Switzerland 1, Costa Rica 0.
And that goal there means that a draw now, that equation is out for Serbia. They have to win. As Neymar breaks, Neymar then caught, rolls around. Oh, how many times did he roll around after being caught by Lajic? No wonder the Serbian bench have erupted there, because yes, he caught him, but did he need to tumble 4, 5, 6 times? No way.
Do you know, I don't even know if he caught him. I think he got a bit of the ball as well. I wondered if it actually was a free kick, but he's rolled, he's made absolutely most of it. They'll give him his due now. He's turned around, he's ruffled the hair of the man who gave him that tackle there, but it wasn't a horrible tackle, was it? Actually, he's caught. We've seen another angle here. He's not, no, to be fair, he's not hurt. John, we're sitting beside us here. He's not hurt. Ian and I agree, he's not hurt. But he's rolled and he's rolled and he's rolled. And by the way, he's turned down and he's smiling at the coach, giving him a thumbs up. Everybody knows he's not injured, but it was a foul.
It was a foul, and Lajic has been shown the yellow card. I don't dispute the foul, but all of a sudden I thought there was a hill that had appeared the way that he kept on rolling. He was gathering momentum after every tumble.
Do you know, I think you will notice, it's an absolute truism. See if a player rolls, don't worry, he's not injured badly. Just trust me in that one. If you're hurt badly, you stop.
So Lajic has been booked. It's still 0-0. But Brazil now are not on course to finish top of the group, as Veljkovic hooks the ball away from Paulinho, who is running behind him. And the last time that Brazil fell to top a group was 1978. Serbia then have got to go for it. A draw's no longer an option for them. Kostic, far side the left. Support from Kolarov, plays it in low. Tadic with his back to goal, able to turn. Mitrovic hooks it, always going over the bar off his left foot from about 10 yards out. Couldn't set himself, no danger to the Brazil goal, still goalless.
You just wonder if the Serbians have actually got word on about that now. They know they need to go for the win, because they've just stepped up a little bit now. They're going to try really hard to push into those areas and get those balls into Mitrovic. That's about the 4th or 5th cross that they've got into him now. They would have needed something extra special to score that with an overhead kick though.
BBC Radio 5 Live, 5 Live Sport, your World Cup station, and also keeping an eye on the cricket with Eleanor Oldroyd.
And England are 177 for 3 now in the 16th over in this T20 International at Edgbaston. One-off game against Australia. Jos Buttler, magnificent 61 off 30 balls. 177 for 3.
Commentary on 5 Live Sports Extra. Coutinho chips the ball into the penalty area, headed away by Rukavina. Bouncing ball, Milinkovic-Savic heads it to Kolarov. Composed defending by Kolarov, heads it back to Stojkovic. And there we have the 44-year-old coach, Miladin Krstajic, just in his suit, just saying, calm down, it's all right, everything's under control. Well, only until you get yourselves in front, is it? Because at the minute you're going out.
Yeah, it's definitely not under control at the moment. He's trying to be calm with his players, because he's not. He's spotted a couple of little errors now coming through in that defence there, and they're only small errors. And he led to that chance just a few moments ago with Neymar, and just after that, a few minutes later, I think they got the line wrong again. So you're beginning to see little bits of cracks in that back line of Serbia now, and partially it's because they need to push forward a little bit because they know they need that goal.
Miranda at the back for Brazil, still 0-0. Coutinho takes over, comes over the halfway line. Coutinho sees this run of Paulinho. Paulinho tries to lift it forward. Brazil lead. Paulinho. What a super ball by Coutinho. It was the perfect pass. And Paulinho's run timed to perfection. And right-footed, he guided the ball over Stojkovic. And Brazil lead 1-0.
I don't think I got the words out. I just began to see the weaknesses that were beginning to show, the little cracks that were beginning to show in that defence. I think they're going to have a look at it to see if it's offside or not. Didn't look offside to me, nowhere near it to me. Absolutely, perfectly timed run for Paulinho. I would say that's the 3rd time he's actually made that run there. What a lovely little dink ball through to him. I have a suspicion that's come straight from the manager. Remember about 10-15 minutes ago you said to me Coutinho's come over and had a little word with the manager. and within seconds of that, Paulinho made a run forward. I think that's exactly where that's come from.
I think you're right. I think since then, Coutinho has dropped a little bit deeper. Paulinho has been making those forward runs, as you've mentioned. But the ball from Coutinho, listen, anybody who's seen him at Anfield will know that he's a quality player. But the weight of the ball was absolutely fantastic. And to spot the run, there was never a danger of it being offside, because he came from so deep, did Paulinho.
You could just about feel it. Just the little cracks were beginning to open in that defence. We are spoiled rotten here because we are 30 yards away from it, and that line is directly in front of you and I. But you can just feel it there, and those Brazilian players are so good, and particularly Coutinho. If there's a crack, he'll put a ball through it.
Serbia then trailing. Switzerland are winning. Normal order restored. It's a case of as you were at the top of Group E. Brazil back top, fired in by Lajic, headed away by Miranda. Serbia now really do need to go for it, because only a win will do for Serbia, as it's Rukavina. Milinkovic-Savic has lost it. Coutinho to Neymar, and Brazil are 1-0 up. Well, Serbia squandered lead against Switzerland. Switzerland were actually the first team to come from behind and win at this 2018 World Cup against the Serbs. That's what Serbia now must do here in Group E, because Brazil are back top of Group E, and you're looking at a last 16 encounter against Mexico, and it would mean that Switzerland would be taking on Sweden in St. Petersburg as it stands. Coutinho caught late by Rukavina, and that'll be a free kick. There is still a possibility that it could go down to fair play to sort out Brazil and Switzerland, because they're both together on 4 points. But we'll worry about that if it was actually to happen. But the Brazilian support inside this Spartak Stadium, in their yellow shirts and the Brazilian flags, are jumping up and down and celebrating, because Brazil have taken away a little bit of the pressure. It's eased as they lead by a goal to nil, as we've got 7 minutes to go to half-time.
Well, you're right, because they now know they need to lose 2 goals. This is exactly what you're explaining there. And for the Brazilians, they've got such belief in themselves. They do not think that's likely to happen. And you can see a relaxation with all the players. They're enjoying it now. It's a weight off their shoulders. There's definitely a weight off their shoulders. I mean, they try and relax when they walk out for a game with that kind of casual look, but they were under pressure.
But the other night we were extolling the virtues of Diego Godin and that Uruguayan defence that yet to concede a goal. This Brazilian side, they've kept 6 clean sheets in their last 7 games. They are a much more hard-to-beat side that we give them credit for. We're still maybe remembering the problems from 4 years ago as a cross plays in. Milinkovic-Savic was forward, Felipe Luis was back there helping out, Thiago Silva has gone down now, ball's gone behind, it's going to be a corner kick to Serbia. So Serbia have got to throw caution to the wind. They need to win. They're trailing by a goal to nil. Switzerland 1, Costa Rica 0. BBC Radio 5 Live tomorrow, all about England. England against Belgium. Commentary from 7. You'll get a flavour throughout the day on BBC Radio 5 Live. As the Iranian referee is just having to spot a little bit of pushing and shoving. Is Mitrovic involved? It seemed to be directed towards the burly striker. In comes the corner kick now. Alisson did well under pressure. Comes out towards Tadic. Had a swing at that with his left foot. High, bounces well wide. Goal kick, Brazil 1-0 up.
Yeah, but you notice that every time the ball's put in there, it's a good ball with lots and lots of pace. Sometimes a ball's put into the 6-yard box and the keeper gets it, you think that's a poor ball. But because it's whipped in, it's asking that question, and it might have been Matic just in front of him, almost got a little sneaky little header in there. If that ball's played in the middle, and you know how dangerous the Serbians are there, a lot has been asked of Alisson tonight, a massive amount, because hardly one of those balls into the middle has been won by a Brazilian centre-half so far.
Serbia on the attack. Lajic. Kolarov comes behind him as left-back. Forward towards Kostic. Will he keep the ball in play? Sliding was William. Behind for a corner kick. William working hard to try and keep Serbia at bay. Serbia, though, looking to respond. Trailing by a goal to nil with under 5 minutes to go to half-time. It's going to be another corner kick. It's slow in coming from one of the ball boys over on that far side.
Plenty of corner kicks, though. They're getting all those positions that they've wanted from the start of the game. They are manipulating the play, so they're getting. It's not just corner kicks, it's free kicks from wide areas. So far, it hasn't led to a chance. You get the feeling they will get a chance quite soon.
Laic with the corner, headed away by Casemiro, climbed high, 6 yards out to protect his own goal, protect the lead that Brazil have on BBC Radio 5 Live. Out to Tadic, near side the right, playing from left to right. Tadic comes on the inside. Milinkovic-Savic tries to thread it through, cut out though by Thiago Silva. Neymar now will put pressure on Rukavina, who drops back inside his own half. And does he keep the ball in play? No, he doesn't, as a result of that pressure from Neymar.
That was brave. That was hell of a break from him there. He's got Neymar chasing him down. Neymar's clearly got the pace of him as well. And Rukavina thinks to himself, no, I think I'll try and jink and dribble when there's nobody behind me covering me. I'll tell you what, he's very lucky to get away with that.
Coutinho once again in the deep area, goes square towards the goal scorer Paulinho, now with Fagner. Willian drops back inside his own half, over on that right hand side as the yellow shirts and blue shorts of Brazil play from right to left, leading by a goal to nil. We mentioned tomorrow Rachel Burden building up to the England game from 6 o'clock from Kaliningrad. We've talked about the Robbie Savage breakfast show. If you heard it this morning, he asked the question about taking the scruff of the neck. Samba needs to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And it's Brazil who've done exactly that with that goal that was scored after 35 minutes. Listen, somebody said that 5 Live are having a house party out in Russia. Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast and the challenges that he sets are part of that, so I'm only going along with it. But I got the groan from Pat Nevin, and my producer just put his head in his hands. But it's the listeners who set them up. You'll listen tomorrow morning with Robbie at 8:30 as Casemiro out towards that far side. Brazil lead by a goal to nil. 2.5 minutes to go to the break. Unable to get away through as Kolarov stands firm. Kolarov clears, stopped by Casemiro, preventing the raw ball reaching Mitrovic. The little layoff back towards Kostic didn't quite come off. Willian now darting forward, busy. Brazil, Casemiro, midway through the Serbia half, leading by a goal to nil, where Switzerland are also leading Costa Rica by a goal to nil. Brazil as it stands going through as Group E winners, Switzerland progressing also. Felipe Luis to Neymar, little touch, didn't quite come off to reach Coutinho. Matic now will stride forward, can't find Laic, goes straight towards Thiago Silva. Still a decent tempo to the game though, Pat Nevin.
There is, there's much more open in that midfield. We were talking about it beforehand, it was like a desert for the Brazilians. There was nobody in there. Actually, they're getting in there more interesting spaces now. They're playing nice little 1-2s, finding angles just now. The referee's giving a free kick, and I'm struggling to see where the free kick was there. Wasn't a lot now, was it?
No.
Possibly Gabriel Jesus is, using his height and his weight there, but that's a bit harsh.
So Brazil are 1-0 up, the free kick's been taken and taken quickly. Matic then will get it back from Velkovic and across towards Kolarov, the left back high up over on that far side, midway through the Brazil half. Mitrovic shows himself back towards Matic, and Rukavina's making a run on this near side, the right. Nobody spotted the run of the right back. He had space to run into because Tadic was in a central area. Neymar though gets away from one challenge. Neymar now running into the centre circle. Neymar passes the ball forward, stopped by a sliding Kolarov, tied it up by Milinkovic, and out towards that far side for a Brazil throw as we're inside the last 60 seconds of the first half on BBC Radio 5 Live. We're here, Brazil are 1-0 up and Switzerland still lead Costa Rica 1-0.
Poor Williams a bit gutted there. He was through there. If that ball is being played, he's got Neymar on the ball. It's a ball that's on that you think a player of his calibre would have played. Oddly enough, had it been Coutinho playing that ball, I think that ball would have landed at Williams' feet. It didn't. I was just thinking there for a moment, the best pass you've seen in the World Cup so far, that's right up there, isn't it?
Oh.
Now, I think there's been a few phenomenal passes, but that one's right up there.
Rukavina doesn't keep the ball in play for a bursting run from right back. It was close, but it had gone out of play. We're going to see how much added on time there will be, and we have 2 additional minutes. By the way, the T20 cricket is on 5 Live Sports Extra, and I'm sure you don't need reminding that Wimbledon starts next Monday. There'll be comprehensive coverage of the tennis, and then of course you'll have the football to follow on as well. It doesn't get much better than that to fill your summer days. Laic rises in the air. Casemiro though will get there for Brazil, flicks it towards Fagner, the right back. The ominous stat for Serbia as Fagner now comes forward. Diagonal ball in the air, cut out by the head of Rukavina, and out at play it goes for a throw. The ball boy's quick to give it to Neymar, back in play very, very quickly, still leading by a goal to nil. Is that when Brazil have scored first in World Cup matches, they've lost just 3
of 65 games when they've scored the opening goal. Here is Neymar. Neymar with a curling effort, just over the top. Left corner of the penalty area, hit it sweetly off his right foot. It was dipping and curling just over the crossbar. 1-0 Brazil.
It's kind of odd way that he hits the ball. That ball seemed to be too far under his feet. You know, you're thinking, well, he's going to have to take another touch to get the ball out of his feet. Nope, he's got it absolutely brilliantly. Had a little quick look up before there. The angle was incredibly difficult, but the whip, the pace they got on that ball was stunning.
Well, Paulinho got the goal, but it's Coutinho in the midfield. He just keeps managing to find space as Paulinho now charges forward. Strong run by Paulinho. Paulinho into the penalty area, right-hand side, and cuts it back, but at the near post. Stojkovic makes the save.
Likes that inside right area, doesn't it, Paulinho? Time and time again, he's hammering in there. I mean, he's by a distance the strongest player in that kind of front half for Brazil. He needed to start making those runs. They weren't happening in the first 20 minutes or so. Made a massive difference. And if you make those runs with players like Coutinho on the pitch, you're probably going to get something.
So the half-time whistle has sounded, and Brazil lead Serbia by 1-0. Paulinho with the only goal of the half, 10 minutes before the break, but a sumptuous pass by Coutinho to pick out the run of Paulinho, and Brazil 1-0. Pat Nevitt.
And the fact you come and watch Brazil, you want to see a lot of things. There have been a few skills out there, some great moments, actually some great little skillful pieces by Neymar. You know, it hasn't been the finishing touch yet. Now and again they've been from other players as well, but Coutinho's the one that has really caught the eye. And it is a moment of brilliance, it's a moment of utter genius. It's a fabulous pass in, and also you've got to say, Tite, what a great little technical change he made there. Great tactics.
So Brazil are on course for the knockout stages, Kelly. Half-time, 1-0.
Ian, thank you, Ian Dennis.
The official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
Okay, so the scores out half-time in Serbia 0, Brazil 1, and in the other game with Switzerland leading 1-0 to Costa Rica. So far this is how the Group E table is going. Brazil 7 points, Switzerland 7 points, first and second. Serbia 3 points, and Costa Rica with no points. So as it stands at the moment, if the scoreline stay like that, obviously, then Serbia and Costa Rica will be out of the competition. Don't forget tomorrow night then, or tomorrow, more FA Cup action for yourself. 3 o'clock, Japan and Poland, and Senegal and Colombia. And then at 7 o'clock we've got England and Belgium. Live coverage on that game for you. And we also have updates of Panama and Tunisia. Of course, Panama and Tunisia are out of the competition anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so the second half on the way for yourself, but it's latest from the Sky Centre is 10 to 7.
Defending champions Germany have gone out of the World Cup in the group stages in Russia. They suffered a 2-0 defeat to South Korea in their final group game. Joe Townsend reports.
It's the shock of the tournament, and here in the former German city of Kaliningrad, England fans are pretty happy.
I was just jumping for joy just up in the pub there watching it.
I wanted to play Germany because we owe them one, to be quite honest with you, and we could have beaten them and just knocked them out this time, and they'd be crying on the telly.
England are here for tomorrow's final group game with Belgium, and now know they can't play Germany.
We've got to finish second, and then let's get to the semi-finals.
Increases our chances. We're going all the way.
For Germany, it's catastrophic. The last time they didn't go past the group was when they were banned from the World Cup after the Second World War.
Sweden progressed to the knockout phase with a 3-0 victory against Mexico, who are also through. Brazil are just getting underway against Serbia and need a draw to reach the last 16. In other news, it's understood the personal information and credit card details of up to 40,000 Ticketmaster customers could have been stolen. The company identified malicious software on Saturday on a chat support window that's hosted by a supplier called Inventa Technologies. It applies to transactions between February and this weekend. The fire service has asked for help from the military as they continue to fight flames on Saddleworth Moor in Greater Manchester. Those living nearby are being told to keep windows and doors closed. Dave Keelan is from Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service.
Crews are working extremely hard. You've seen throughout the day today how conditions can change within 5 or 10 seconds if that wind direction changes. The crews are doing an admirable job and working really hard in extreme temperatures.
US media is reporting Michael Jackson's father, Joe, has died at the age of 89. His grandson, Taj, appears to have confirmed the news, saying the hearts of his entire family are in pain. And there's been a minor earthquake in Surrey. The British Geological Survey says it struck at around 12:30 and measured 2.6 in magnitude. That's the latest. I'm Barry Weir.
The World Cup. This is SJ Radio.
Okay, the greatest show on earth, the World Cup, continues in 8 minutes. But first, the greatest show to the greatest film to the greatest showman. This is the greatest show. SJ Radio, FA Cup, World Cup live coverage and big news about season 13 after this as well. Stay tuned.
The World Cup 2014 in Brazil. This is SJ Radio.
This is the moment you've waited for. You've been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what can gather. Your fever dream, can't you see you getting closer? Just surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's a picture in the pulpit and your blind devotion. There's something breaking at the brick of every wall, it's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you want to go? Intoxicating you.
From the greatest show to the greatest showman to the greatest show on earth, which is the World Cup, to the greatest radio show on earth, SJ Radio, is coming back.
Today's best mix, SJ Radio.
We're broadcasting live and on demand from all around the UK, and around the world. Sean, Jamie.
Stars. What's up? It's your girl Rihanna.
What's the deal, y'all? This is Big Will Smith.
Yo, this is Justin Bieber. What's up? It's Miley Cyrus, Lady Gaga.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams.
I'm Taylor Swift.
Justin Bieber. This is Pink.
This is Ed Sheeran. This is Justin Timberlake.
Music. This episode contains the mix 3.
Golden 5, Nan vs Grandson, Throwback, Eminem Reviews,
Randomizer.
We're live on the Spreaker Network for the next 3 hours. This is SJ Radio with Sean and Jamie Gay.
On his name, SJ Radio now. Big FM.
The blue microphone is 3, 2, 1.
There you have it. So, SJ Radio's back. Book the 16th of July into your diaries. 16th of July in your diaries, because we are back bigger and ever. Not only are we on Spreaker like we normally do, we are now broadcasting along the stages. We are broadcasting, of course, on iHeartRadio from Australia. We're also on a Spanish podcast station as well. How, I have no idea, but with all of them so big, more people listening. We also reached Hollywood the other week as well. So SJ Radio booked the 16th of July, Monday, 7 o'clock. We are back. And we got this as well.
The Randomizer on SJ Radio.
After 2 seasons of doing the Randomizer, we finally got a jingle for it.
The Randomizer on SJ Radio.
We also got an American SJ Radio ID.
SJ Radio.
And the X Factor.
SJ Radio.
Which is always good. And of course, tempers may be brewing a little bit high. We've been cut off a few times. So if you hear this, it means we've been cut off.
This station you've been listening to has been dumped. This means someone has said something inappropriate and is currently getting in trouble. The broadcast will return in seconds.
So with all of that, we've got the Randomizer, which is back, or
The Randomizer on SJ Radio.
We've got the Randomizer, we've got Nan vs Grandson, we've got Eminem Reviews, we've got Throwback, the Mix 3, the Golden 5, all here, 7 o'clock, Monday the 16th of July. You don't want to miss it. We are looking forward to another 30 episodes of that and more guests on as ever. So let's head back then, shall we? Back to the action, back to Serbia versus Brazil. Let's do it.
The official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
Brazil leads a 0-0 at the moment, with Switzerland beating Costa Rica by a 0-0 as well. Anything can happen in the second half of the greatest show. This is the World Cup. This is Serbia versus Brazil.
World Cup. This is SJ Radio.
To bring that into England, it's great as well. Cause
plenty of tea around?
Yeah, plenty of tea. As you've seen of Delph's tea.
The tea?
Yeah, just
Yorkshire
that one, Yorkshire tea.
So very English. Belgium will rest Romelu Lukaku for tomorrow's game, live on 5 Live at 7 o'clock, build up across the day. Elsewhere in football, Marouane Fellaini is close to signing a new 2-year contract at Manchester United. Meanwhile, Southampton's Dusan Tadic has agreed to join Ajax for £10 million on a 4-year deal. Andy Murray was beaten in straight sets by Kyle Edmund earlier at Eastbourne. He lost 6-4, 6-4 to Edmund in the second round. Tennis correspondent Russell Fuller joins us. So what do we learn about this, about Murray's possible fitness for Wimbledon?
I would be very surprised if he didn't play now, Kelly. We're due to speak to him in the next half an hour or so. He said he'd make a decision after he had concluded his matches here in Eastbourne. He has certainly been hitting the ball very well in the 3 matches he's played so far in his comeback after 11 months out. So I think it's been a positive return to the tour, but it's very early days. He doesn't have the same explosivity, the same dynamism on court as we associate with him in his heyday, but it is early stages, and he'll be looking to rediscover that over the weeks and months to come. As for Edmund, well, it was a significant moment for him, almost one of those coming-of-age moments. He's beaten the man he's looked up to throughout his life. It's nearly 12 years since any British man has beaten Andy Murray, and it was a powerful display by Edmund, and when Murray came back at him towards the end, he held his nerve and he got that all-important win.
And Johanna Konta's out as well.
And this was disappointing because she was playing Caroline Wozniacki, the top seed Australian Open champion, world number 2, but she played really well in the first set. It went to a decider and she fought very hard, Konta, but she lost that decider by 6 games to 4. And even though she's playing significantly better than she was at the end of last year and at times in the early part of this year, she's just not quite able to beat a top 10 player. She's not managed to do that since the Wimbledon quarter-final against Simona Halep last year, and often she hits the front but gets beaten in 3 sets. So she's moving forward, but it would have done wonders for her confidence heading into Wimbledon if she had been able to close that victory out over Wozniacki earlier.
Thanks, Russell. And Wimbledon returns to the BBC. Comprehensive coverage across TV, radio, online, the mobile app from next Monday. 5 Live will be live from the All England Club from midday. Meanwhile, in Nizhny Novgorod, Switzerland are leading Costa Rica by a 1-0 at half-time. Vicky Sparks will keep us up to date with what happens in the second half of that game. As it stands, though, Switzerland will go through as runners-up and Brazil will go through as winners if all stays the same, because they lead Serbia by a 0-0 at half-time in Spartak Moscow Stadium. To join the second half, our commentary team, Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Kelly. Neither side has made a change here in the Spartak Stadium. Brazil leading through that goal from Paulinho after 35 minutes. So both Brazil and Switzerland on course to progress. Switzerland have a goal difference of, well, better by 1, superior by 1 than Switzerland. So that might well change during the course of the second half, but we have Vicky Sparks keeping an eye on Switzerland against Costa Rica. But on a day when the World Cup champions have gone out of the competition, Brazil, offside against Neymar, will just want to make sure they're through to the last 16. So this is a reminder of the two teams. Alisson is in goal for Brazil, Fagner, Miranda, Thiago Silva and Felipe Luis, the defence. The midfield of Casemiro and Paulinho, Coutinho, Willian, Neymar and Jesus. For Serbia, Stojkovic is in goal. Remember that Felipe Luis replaced Marcelo, by the way, after 10 minutes through injury. Stojkovic is in goal for Serbia. Rukovina, Velkovic, Milankovic and Kolarov, the defence, for those all in red. Milankovic, Savic and Matic, the 2 holding midfielders. Tadic on the right, Lajic and Kostic, then behind Alexander Mitrovic. Yellow shirts, royal blue shorts, Brazil playing from left to right in this second half against Serbia in the all red with the white trim across their shoulders. And it's a free kick that's been awarded for a foul on Willian. Early thoughts, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I just think Gabriel Jesus trying a little trick there, a trick that I've only ever seen one player try before, and it was Neymar many years ago. Tried to do a back heel flick through the legs and he nearly got away with it. So in the first seconds of the second half, it looks like they're going to try and go out and enjoy themselves, and if they can get another goal, I think they will enjoy themselves, the Brazilian team, along with all the rest of the fans as well. But it's definitely not over yet. They cannot relax yet. And it just jumps into your mind, both of the fullbacks are now injured. You know, and Danilo is a big part of their play, and certainly know Marcelo is as well. So we'll keep an eye on Fagner and see how he does. I actually think he's been superb since he's come into the team. I think he's been magnificent. He's only about 5'6", but he's not put a foot wrong, and when he's gone forward, he's looked really comfortable on the ball too.
Douglas Costa is another one who's not available tonight due to injury, and Brazilian TV are reporting that Marcelo left the field of play with a back injury, and he looked like to be in real pain as he was helped down the tunnel when he was replaced earlier on in the evening. Early in the second half, Serbia 0, Brazil 1. Only a victory will do now for Serbia as Stojkovic strikes it downfield. Chested off into the path of Milinkovic-Savic, out towards Rukavina on that right-hand side. Mitrovic drops into space. Serbia are attacking. Mitrovic, right corner of the penalty area, runs into Miranda, captain for the night. I wonder who will be the captain in the last 16 for Brazil, as Jesus tried to break forward, and Jesus was fouled, and that will be a yellow card. And it was shown, I think, to Nemanja Matic, and should Serbia come from behind, then Matic would be suspended because he's just picked up his second yellow card of the tournament.
Felt a wee bit sorry for him, because when he made the challenge at first, he thought Jesus just tipped the ball away from him, but Nemanja Matic, being a very clever central midfielder, made sure they followed through with his other foot and took him out. So yellow card, correct decision.
Miranda scoops the ball long, offside flag on this near side. Neymar on the far side, the left court offside, as the free kick is taken quickly. Serbia in all red, playing from right to left. Here is Veljkovic coming forward. Might remember from his time when he was trying to come up through the ranks at White Hart Lane. Former player, had a couple of loans, I think, Charlton and Middlesbrough. Now a regular for Werder Bremen in Germany, still only 22 years of age. Stojkovic, the goalkeeper. Coming onto this ball is Lajic, outside the centre circle, has a little glance over his right shoulder, passes the ball out towards Kolarov, first time cross in from the left-hand side, cleared only as far as Lajic, tries to play it forward, blocked by the legs of Casemiro. Matic, Veljkovic, Lajic on this near side, just in from the touchline. Passes the ball forward, asking far too much of Kolarov, and it peters out and out for a goal kick. So Brazil still lead by 1-0, and Switzerland are still 1-0 up against Costa Rica.
Just look at the ways in which Serbia might get back into this game. Now, we've talked a lot about the fact that they're a tall team. Every time they've got the ball in wide areas, they've tried to put it in, particularly from corner kicks. They've won a few in those sort of areas, but you've got to say well done to Alisson, who's come out and collected most things, or punched most things. But you're beginning to look at it and thinking, if they can get a free kick in the edge of the box and maybe Kolarov can have a strike, it may well be that that's maybe one of the other very few opportunities they'll have. And by the way, take nothing away from Tadic, he's played well tonight as well.
Coutinho having an outstanding game, passes the ball out to Willian, infield to Paulinho, shields it away from Matic as Willian takes over. Fagner, right back, 10 yards, oh, that's given away. Kolarov then actually turns away and disgusted himself in annoyance, because it just bounced straight out of play for a Brazil throw, just when he was maybe looking to take advantage of a sloppy passage of play from Brazil. Casemiro short of the halfway line, tries to switch play, curls away from Rukavina, didn't want to commit, didn't want to show himself too much to allow Neymar to get round the back as Casemiro dives in to win it back. Jesus challenges, Casemiro is there, the referee's played the advantage, there may have been a foul there on Casemiro. Neymar takes over midway through the Serbia half. In control, Brazil leading by 1-0, and as it stands will go through as Group E winners. Switzerland is still leading by 1-0. BBC Radio 5 Live. Neymar forward, Jesus, Paulinho easily lost the ball there, and it's cleared away by Serbia. Thiago Silva will keep it in.
Well, you've used the word control there, and you're absolutely right. I'll also say comfortable at the moment, but that can be dangerous. You know, if they get a little bit too comfortable, you know, a little bit, you know, the flex and tricks come in a little bit too much, then it will give Serbia a chance to go and hunt them down. However, Williams got himself to the byline.
Looks to get round the back of Kolarov. Kolarov back goal side, right hand side, down towards the byline. William fires it in, and Milinkovic was the player inside the 6-yard area who managed to turn it away.
Well, that's the William we've watched in English football these last few years. Brilliant little trick, didn't have to do a great deal, but gets to the byline, 2 yards worth of pace, pings it across there, no takers in the middle there. But I think Brazil would like to see a lot more coming from the right hand side and from Willian just now. And just as we say that, Felipe Luis has given the ball away needlessly, passed it out.
Didn't seem to be too far away from Neymar. It seemed to be more that Neymar couldn't be bothered to stretch himself to keep the ball in play. Serbia will break, then it breaks down. Thiago Silva plays it forward to Coutinho. Here is Coutinho, always finding the space. Neymar, Felipe Luis on the overlap if he wants him. Drifts a little bit in field, gets a little shove, but still keeps his balance. Retains his balance and retains possession. Just about, helped out by Coutinho, who continues to roam and drop deep and revel here in the Spartak Stadium. Tries to link up with Neymar, cut out by Matic. Serbia, who need to win, trailed by a goal to nil. Urged on now, Lajic running at the heart of the Brazilian defence. He's got options right and left. Lajic, the ball back towards Lajic, and in the end he just slipped as the ball was passed back to him by Tadic. Didn't do him any favours.
Do you know that overconfidence and that comfortable feeling I was telling you about just a second ago? That's exactly it. That has nailed it. The Brazil can't do that because in the World Cup, and particularly this World Cup, teams spot that a mile away and they've got to fight in them. And you know that everything depends on this game now for the Serbians. And there was just 3 or 4 minutes there where, you know, little flex, little tricks, you know, everything's outside their boot, no look passes, etc. Don't do that. Really don't do that until you're 2 or 3 goals up, because Serbia will come back at you. They absolutely will come back at you.
We'll see if that warning is heeded or not, bearing in mind that Serbia have scored in 13 of their last 14 matches. The only time they failed was against Chile in one of the warm-up games in early June. Kolarov, high at the pitch, near side to left, playing from right to left. Willian back with him. Matic now just in front of us here. This is Milinkovic-Savic, curling ball into the penalty area, headed away by the captain Miranda. Lajic will though get it back for Serbia on that far side, the right. Every outfield player is in the Brazil half. Serbia are playing from right to left. Listen to the response by the Serbian supporters. Urged on, looking for a way back into the game to keep their World Cup hopes alive as they trail by a goal to nil. Switzerland, remember, still lead 1-0. Serbia on the attack. Milinkovic-Savic gets the shot away, right-footed, blocked. Lifted back into the air by Milinkovic, the defender. Milinkovic-Savic, the midfielder, double-barrelled name, out of play it goes for Brazil, throw on the far side.
It's one of the things that's been very noticeable this World Cup. Now and again when games have been tight, fans have made a difference. We watched it with the Iceland fans, made a massive difference. And it's as if they can feel it. You know, we watched it with the Mexico fans. It's like they feel it and think, come on lads, you've got a chance here. You'd written it off for a little while there, but you can see the little chance. And just for a moment there, you heard the Serbian fans, and they're saying, actually, this lot have got to relax now. Let's see if we can take good advantage of it.
Well, we mentioned earlier that Neymar didn't really stretch himself to keep that ball in play. They cannot afford to get complacent, Brazil, leading only by a goal to nil. Fagner, the right back, little flick by Jesus, doesn't run into the path of Willian. Velkovic will go back, the bushy-haired defender, to Stojkovic, the goalkeeper, in a dark goalkeeping outfit, away to our right-hand side. 10 minutes into the second half, and Brazil still lead through that Paulinho goal. Stojkovic downfield, gets plenty of distance. Mitrovic loses out in the air to Casemiro. Matic though will charge forward, helped out by Lajic. Lajic now to Kostic on this near side, the left. Infield, Tadic does the run over. Miranda was alive to the danger, stops it from reaching Mitrovic. Lajic though wins it back. Serbia is still in this game. The Serbian fans are up and out of their seats as Lajic is go for a curling effort, and it's scooped over his own crossbar by a jumping Miranda.
I don't know how much you hear about it. He took one hell of a chance there. He took it and it came off the side of his boot, and they got a little bit lucky. You can see this changing now.
Corner kick to Serbia, looking for an equaliser. Kolarov waits, near side to left, floats it in. Velkovic was there. Jesus is back, leaping in with Kolarov. Coutinho will try and bring it away. Little flick towards Willian, heads it forward. Break for Brazil. Coutinho forward to Neymar. Neymar now into the penalty area. Neymar for Brazil. Saved by Stojkovic, and behind for a corner kick.
Brilliant chance there, and a great break there. A game of football's rather broken out in the last couple of minutes. 2 chances, one for either side there. This game is now wide open. This is a cup game now.
Corner kick for Brazil. After this corner we will be getting an update because there's been another goal in Group E, but Neymar just waits. He'll be recovering a little bit as now the corner can be taken on the left hand side. Didn't beat the first man, stopped by Rukavina, who's gone down holding his head. And is he alright, Rukavina, as it's gone behind for another corner kick? Neymar waits for the bouncing ball to come down towards him. Brazil lead by a goal to nil. Corner kick over on that far side, the left. Neymar to take. Stojkovic made the save. Neymar with the elevation, flicked on by Thiago Silva towards the far post, headed behind for another corner kick. Will quickly nip to Vicky Sparks.
Equaliser for Costa Rica. Kendall Waston with a thumping header from Campbell's corner. As things stand though, Switzerland only need a point to go through, but getting a little bit nervy. Switzerland 1, Costa Rica 1.
Yep, Brazil will go through as group winners. Switzerland will still be going through. Serbia need a victory.
Just lifted it, haven't they, Brazil? Just a little bit. You can see that they calmed down just slightly too much. They've lifted it again, and they needed to there because, you know, the tails are up from the Serbian side, and they've got a few corners out of it, but they don't look dangerous, the corners, do they?
No, they don't. Coutinho is one of the last lines of defence. He volleys the ball up into the air. Don't forget there is that scenario of a Serbia draw, providing that Switzerland lose by more than one goal. Not relevant at the moment as it's 1-1, but Vicky did say in the first half that goal for Switzerland did come against the run of play against Costa Rica, so it can still quickly turn. BBC Radio 5 Live. Tomorrow, England-Belgium. We'll give you a taster of all of the build-up. We'll be hearing from Gareth Southgate, which is bound to feature in the World Cup Daily podcast with Mark Chapman and Kelly Cates. You can download from your usual providers every morning. You'll be hearing, I'm sure, from Gareth Southgate his thoughts on that game. As Serbia on the attack, low cross from the right-hand side, easily gathered in by Alisson, the goalkeeper.
But they're doing the right things now, Serbia. I mean, they have to push forward a little bit. They do understand that, you know, this is it. You've got, just over half an hour. You get out the World Cup possibly, so you've got to get yourself forward, you've got to take a few chances with players, get your full-backs up now and again. It may lead you to losing another goal, but you're going out anyway, so you might as well have a go, and you can see that they are slowly but surely trying to build off a bit.
Before England-Belgium, there will be Group H to be concluded. Japan, Poland, and the commentary of Senegal against Colombia from 3 o'clock. That's what time those games kick off. Back in Samara for Senegal against Colombia, and of course the winners and runners-up will be the opponents for England and Belgium, who've already qualified. So they'll know the permutations for when they do kick off as Brazil now come forward. Here is Coutinho to Willian, just popped up a little bit, it breaks back towards Coutinho, lifts it forward, flag stays down, Jesus is there, Stojkovic will pick the ball up, and the flag continues to stay down as Brazil here lead by 1-0. We've been playing for an hour in the Spartak Stadium. The majority of the supporters are all wearing yellow, so you can imagine that it's a happy, vibrant place as Kolarov tries to thread a ball through from the left-hand side to Mitrovic. Alisson was alert, the goalkeeper quickly out of his penalty area. Serbia need a victory, and they're seeing a lot of the ball as Matic now collects it from his central defender, Milinkovic, to Tadic. Rukavina is going to come forward on the overlap, forward on that far side, the right. Passes the ball back towards Tadic, right corner of the penalty area. Rukavina then with a cross. Alisson hasn't dealt with it, and Mitrovic can't head the ball over the line from 8 yards out. And it rebounds into the hands, the grateful hands of Alisson.
They get very, very lucky there, but the ball's coming into the right-hand side. Rukavina, first half, the two fullbacks didn't come forward at all for the Serbians, but they have to change it. Just what I said, they have to change it in the second half. They have to take chances. Boy, did it nearly work there. It nearly absolutely paid off for them, and I think that's just bad luck more than anything else. Brazil are lucky that they're still in the lead right now.
It's another warning sign for Brazil as Coutinho comes forward, stopped by Milinkovic with his challenge. Mitrovic has scored 15 goals in his last 18 starts for Serbia. How they needed a goal from their talismanic striker on that occasion. Not to be. Still trailing by 1-0. BBC Radio 5 Live. Matic forward now. Holds off the challenge of Jesus. Plays the ball out towards the far side. Serbia. Lajic comes in, sliding Basfagna. Half-hearted clearance by Willian, flicked by Kolarov. Kostic left corner of the penalty area. Serbia are threatening. Kolarov strokes it back out to Kostic. Kostic with a cross, headed away by Thiago Silva. Brazil can't get it clear. Now they can. By the way, there was some outrageous play acting again. I think it was by Jesus.
It was Jesus, absolutely, and I'm delighted the referee done nothing about it. Told them to get up.
Tadic with a chip. Alisson swats at that one. Does he get anything on it as it goes out of play? In fact, Felipe Luis will keep it in play. Clearance away. The Serbian supporters urge on Serbia. If you're going to go out to the World Cup,
You're going to go out fighting, and that's what you'd expect from Serbia as they trail by a 0-0. But they really are piling on the pressure. Kolarov picks out the run. Here's Tadic, angle sides. Tadic to Mitrovic. Mitrovic is there. Clearance by Casemiro. Great effort by Serbia.
Blaze of glory at the moment, isn't it? Absolute blaze of glory. They are pushing them all the way.
Tadic in the penalty area. Milinkovic, Savic wide, right-footed. Alisson's having to take a breather. The Brazilian defence is having to take a breather.
Yeah, absolutely welting out there. I think they expected it, and it's their own Brazilians' own fault. Absolutely, it's their own fault. Right to the start of that second half, a little bit of tiffy-taffy stuff, little back heels, no look passes, weren't taking any, weren't putting any pressure on. They thought the job had been done, and immediately, not only the Serbian players, but the Serbian fans, they picked up on that. So they want to win this game, or want to get back into this game. They're physical about it as well. Having said that, I think we've both seen the replay of the Gabriel Jesus one. You know what? Get lost. Absolutely. I wish to goodness they'd book him for that. It's an absolute disgrace.
You can tell the concern on the Brazilian bench, bearing in mind that we're seeing the sight of the Manchester City player Fernandinho, who's going to be coming on just to try and shore things up, because Serbia have had a good spell of pressure. They need to win. They're trailing by a 0-0. Switzerland, though, like Brazil, are going through. Switzerland drawing 1-1 with Costa Rica. Neymar. The lead is only a slender one as Fernandinho gets his final instructions from Tite. Goal from Paulinho is still the difference between the two, and it was made by this man on the ball, Coutinho.
It's just amazing seeing how easy they took it to start that second half. Well, a training game for Brazil, didn't it? And it's almost offensive if you're an opposition player saying, well, wait a minute, we're a team, we're a good team. You should just... The oddest thing is, teams go out too fearful too often against certain teams, but Germany used to get it until today, and certainly Brazil get it most of the time. They ain't getting that just now. They're getting no respect from the Serbians.
Serbia are attacking once again. Lajic, far side the right, passes the ball out to Rukavina, the right back, time to steady himself, whips in the cross, Mitrovic with a header, straight to the goalkeeper. Another chance Serbia haven't taken.
Keep on doing it, just keep on doing it. Just say you've got to get those full backs forward. The big thing is Williams not enjoying following Kolarov back, but on the far side, Neymar just will not go in front of Rukavina. So Rukavina is getting on that right hand side, getting plenty of space and getting chances to get crosses in.
Fernandinho's going to come on, he's going to replace Paulinho. Whilst that change happens, there's been a wicket at the cricket. Ellie.
Australia chasing 222 to beat England in the evening sunshine here in this one-off T20, and Darcy Short, the man out, caught by Moeen Ali off Liam Plunkett for 16, 17 for 1 Australia in the third over.
Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. You said a word in the first half, Pat Nevin. You said control. Yeah. Brazil at the moment don't have control.
Completely gone, absolutely gone. And again, own fault. They've no one else to blame because they're just cruising about, making it feel as if it's far too easy for them. You need to be a team at this point tonight. You need to be strong. You need to make sure that you're creating chances doing well and put that fear of losing a goal into the opposition. At the moment, apart from the odd break, I don't think the Serbians are fearful of that. I mean, hey, a moment of brilliance can change that, of course. But by the way, what a beautiful touch by Neymar there.
Neymar now glides forward on that left-hand side. Neymar to the left corner of the penalty area, looks towards Jesus, cut out by the clearance from Velkovic. It's a high clearance downfield. Mitrovic, though, and the flag's up.
I think he was offside a long time before he ran it. A big arc ball there, but he's chasing it. The thing about Mitrovic, he'll give everything, won't he? He'll keep on going. But he's had 2 great chances. I mean, you think about it in those terms. They could be 2. They could be 1 up by now. They absolutely easily could be 1 up just now with the chances that only that Mitrovic has had. So that'll give them a little bit of heart. But there's plenty of time left yet. They've got 22 minutes, something like that, 23 minutes.
Coutinho forward to Neymar. Neymar on the attack into the penalty area, left-hand side. Goes behind for a corner kick as he tried the return ball towards Coutinho. And Neymar now whips the Brazilian crowd up into a frenzy. Waves his hand, and boy do they respond. Corner kick taken short left-hand side. Flick back out towards Neymar. The lead is just the difference of 1. Neymar on the outside, left-hand side, and it's behind for another corner.
It's funny, see when you watch England take corner kicks, and they've practiced them, they know what they're going to do, they're going to try and manipulate the situation so that they'll get something out of it. You get a feeling Brazil haven't even given them the first thought in the world. If it works, it's going to be a fluke, and you never know, they might get a fluke now.
Neymar with a corner kick, comes into the penalty area, Thiago Silva with a powerful header at the near post. That's the goal that Brazil wanted. They're going into the knockout stages. They lead by 2 goals to 0.
And that must be heartbreaking for the Serbians, because it's the simplest ball in. It's a near post ball, good pace, got in that near post. They haven't given any thought to any of the corner kicks, and they've looked really poor up until now. But that one was zipped in towards the near post. Poor marking, poor defending from them. But that really is massively against the run of play, because Serbia have been the better team for about 10 minutes. But that one moment of brilliance, and at the moment the Serbian players are surrounding the referee. They're claiming it's something, and do you know what? I think they've got a point. I think Miranda's taking a player out in front of him. Is it Matic? It's Mitrovic in front of him there. But that happens in a box, and I don't think they're going to get anything out of that.
Well, according to our screens, it's not being checked by VAR.
Yeah,
but
it's not enough. It's not enough here.
Thiago Silva. Kolarov is just having a word there with the fourth official, but the game has already restarted, so it wasn't even checked. But Thiago Silva, who was the captain 4 years ago, his leadership was heavily criticised. He was suspended for the humiliation when they lost 7-1 to Germany. He missed out. He wasn't able to just watch on, and as it all just disintegrated, he has got the crucial goal that gives Brazil a cushion that will mean they're more than likely to finish as Group E winners and to try and hold off this spirited Serbian side as they lead by 2 goals to 0 with just over 20 minutes remaining. Kolarov, that was a late challenge by Fagner into the penalty area. The referee had played the advantage, I think. Filipe Luis will clear. It's still Switzerland 1, Costa Rica 1, as Neymar tries to get away, and he does get away. And Neymar now is in full flight on that left-hand side. Jesus is in the penalty area. Coutinho just on the edge of the box. Here is Coutinho. Coutinho tries to steady himself, gets the shot away, takes the deflection, runs behind for a corner kick. Brazil 2-0.
There's been a couple of takes, the ball's come to Neymar the last couple of times, and they've been sublime, absolutely sublime. And that time, he flicked the ball with the back of his right heel over the top of the defender who was coming to close him down there, and that was how the break happened. And I'm sure the Brazilians won't do this again. They won't turn off the gas again. They won't start being over comfortable in their play again, because they almost paid for it last time. Surely they won't do that again.
Mitrovic has just been booked. Should they really turn it around and in dramatic style and score 3 goals, he, like Matic, would be suspended. They're not shy of picking up yellow cards, the Serbians, as the corner kick comes in, headed away by Mitrovic. Filipe Luis beaten out by the goalkeeper. He fired that in from a central area just outside the D, and Stojkovic was down to make the all-important save.
Great save by Filipe Luis. There's a lot of players, particularly defenders, take the first touchdown, you know that ball's going to go into the second tier. Not with him. He's a quality player, and he kept the ball down. Very good save by the goalkeeper, because it just bounced in front of him.
Coming into the final set of group matches, Serbia had picked up 6 yellow cards, the joint highest with Croatia. Well, you've had Matic, Lajic and now Mitrovic booked, so that takes the tally to 9, as the stadium is a jumping wall of yellow. Cut the ball back towards Coutinho. Clearance then by Milinkovic-Savic on that far side. Free kick to Serbia, and it's 2-0 to Brazil with 19 minutes remaining. And so we're going to have Brazil against Mexico in Samara on Monday afternoon, and Switzerland will be playing Sweden in St. Petersburg on Tuesday afternoon in the knockout stages, the way it stands at the moment. And then tomorrow, as the last 16 lineup will be completed, Senegal, Colombia, and Japan against Poland. Any 2 from 3 of Japan, Senegal and Colombia, and of course England and Belgium already qualified. It's the right as to who will finish top of Group G. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. We're live in the Spartak Stadium here in Moscow. Neymar almost teasing Milinkovic-Savic, eventually out towards Luiz on that left-hand side. Dragged back by Coutinho to Neymar, shot blocked. Now they can start to play, but they were a side that were coming under a lot of pressure from Serbia before that second goal, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, well, there's no exaggeration about it. They were getting hammered for about a 15-20 minute period. They've got the goal now. Every single one in that Brazilian team wants to get on the ball. Felipe Luiz has just picked the ball up on the right wing. He's the left full-back just now. They really do want to enjoy it now, and they are actually enjoying it now. And there's lovely little the flexion tricks. They're okay now because for the reason, there's purpose behind them now. If they do something to go forward to get themselves space. That wasn't the case at the start of the second half.
We're getting the olays from the Brazilians. They're keeping the ball, passing it around the pitch. Serbia are chasing shadows as Brazil lead 2-0. There's been another wicket at the cricket to Edgbaston. Helen Aldroyd.
And that target of 222 for Australia looks a long way off. Glenn Maxwell clean bowled by Chris Jordan for 10. 38 for 2 now, Australia. And they are in the fourth over here. So 222 the target. Listen to 5 Live Sports Extra for Test Match special commentary.
Yep, that's where you want the commentary on Sports Extra. Here we are on 5 Live, staying with the football, as they're going to be making a change, Serbia, and we're going to be seeing Zivkovic coming on, he was the youngest player to represent Serbia when he made his debut 5 years ago at 17 against Japan. Left winger. When he plays for Benfica, he tends to be used as a central player. He's got a little bit of a cast on his left wrist as Zivkovic, as he makes the change. But one can't help but think it's too little too late now for Serbia, who require 3 goals in the next 16 minutes.
And they will be kicking themselves because there were chances. Just in that little period, against the very top teams such as Brazil, you're not going to get the vast majority of all the game, but you might get chances, and they had. You've got to say it was getting on for a 15-minute period where they're utterly dominant, creating a whole bunch of chances, 2 of them to Mitrovic up front, but they were getting the balls across from the right-hand side and from the left-hand side. The both full-backs had gone, and you could see there was panic in that Brazilian defence. Panic's gone. Remember that control we're talking about? It's back again.
It is back again. And it's helped by that crucial second goal, just to alleviate the pressure. Kolarov is forward, Willian is back helping out. Had Douglas Costa been fit, then Willian's place in the starting lineup might have been under threat, because he was taken off at half-time against Costa Rica, but Douglas Costa isn't fit, and Willian has been back to his best for Brazil with just over a quarter of an hour remaining, leading by 2-0. Miranda, the captain for the night, gets in front of Mitrovic as Brazil will bring the ball out of defence. Casemiro now takes over. Casemiro runs towards the halfway line. Forward ball to Neymar. Neymar against Milinkovic. Neymar in, gliding across the surface. Again, there was a little push in the chest. He thought about wobbling backwards then, did Neymar. It's almost then he had second thoughts as Zivkovic comes forward on that far side, the right. And Zivkovic will pick out Tadic. Tadic tries to nudge it past Miranda. Miranda's had a solid game, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. It's a position that's not always been easy for the Brazilians to get right. 2 centre-backs. Thiago Silva's class. Quality player. It's just a lot of time is who's going to play beside him, but so far him and Miranda have been pretty good tonight for most of the game.
Here is Willian in the centre circle to Casemiro. 14 minutes remain, still 1-1 between Switzerland and Costa Rica. Neymar's on the attack. Neymar left-hand side, turns away from goal, left-hand side. Felipe Luiz. Neymar then in field to Coutinho, just outside the penalty area, back towards Neymar. Neymar now with Jesus, leaves it for Neymar. They get in each other's way. Jesus actually still keeps it, still dancing around the ball as he moves out of the penalty area. Good footwork by Jesus. The Brazilian supporters again loving that.
That was just pure show. He wasn't wanting to go anywhere, but you know what? It was delightful to watch. Showboating, but showboating can be fun sometimes, and that certainly was. He done 3 or 4 tricks in the middle of that there that I'm slightly surprised he hasn't broken his ankle.
They're doing the olays again, as I'm sure you can hear inside the Spartak Stadium. Brazil stringing the passes together. Felipe Luiz leading by 2-0. And going through of winners of the Group E, just think it could have been so different had they not got those injury time goals against Costa Rica. It could have been so different had they buckled when Serbia were putting them under pressure. With a thumping header from Thiago Silva has put them back in control, and that second goal coming midway through the second half. Serbia 0, Brazil 2, 13 minutes remain.
And the hardest thing about this is, they're keeping the ball incredibly well. And if you're Serbia, you're very frustrated. You're looking up at that clock and you're seeing your World Cup getting down to 13 minutes, 12 minutes. Everything you've dreamed of, everything you've wanted is slowly but surely going away just now. It's a very, very soul-destroying place to be in just now for them.
Jesus tries to get away from Veljkovic, had his arms around him, out to Fagner. The right back can't thread it through. They lost possession momentarily. Back with Brazil once again, keeping the ball. Casemiro's going to strike from distance. And had that been an effort in rugby union, it went that high, it would have been right between the posts. As it is, it's going to be a goal kick, as the attendance is 44,190. So we're almost to capacity here at the Spartak Stadium.
It's tricky to watch Brazil, and we've been fortunate enough to see them twice now. And although there's the brilliance, the moments of absolute genius, you look at them and you think, well, it's not absolutely fail-safe that they can play an entire game and not be caught out. And you just wonder what it would be like if a team went and attacked them the way Serbia did for 50 minutes. Did that for the start against them. Don't sit back. Go and ask them the question right from the start.
Confirmed to be leaving Southampton. Zivkovic from the right-hand side, taken on the chest. Matic on the turn, hit it on the spin behind for a goal kick. As they're going to be making a change, are Brazil, and the player who's going to be coming off is Coutinho, and this is just to shore up the midfield, because the player who's going to replace him is Renato Augusto, who came on for his second appearance at this World Cup. Coutinho's pass for the opening goal, sublime. Let's get an update from the other game in Group E. Switzerland, Costa Rica. Vicky Sparks.
1-1, but Switzerland's turn to hit the woodwork. The substitute Dremic with a powerful header against the post. A point takes Switzerland through, and if Brazil beat Serbia, as it looks as though they will do, Switzerland will be through regardless. So 1-1, but not too tense.
No, and they'll be playing Sweden in St. Petersburg on Tuesday afternoon. Brazil against Mexico on Monday in the delightful city of Samara. So Augusto's just to come on to shore things up for the closing stages. By the way, from 10 o'clock, this will be a very good listen, I'm sure, on 5 Live. We'll be having a rewind to Italia 90. That was the time when it was World in Motion that was being sung, Pat Nevin. You know, the one from New Order?
Can't remember that one, actually. So, strangely enough.
England, Belgium. Chris Waddle and Terry Butcher with their thoughts from 10 on BBC Radio 5 Live, just to whet the appetite ahead of that game tomorrow. The last time that Brazil failed to get out of the group stages was 1966. That was the year that England won the World Cup, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, do you know, I don't mind that. The 66 is absolutely fine, but it's the World in Motion thing that's getting to me. I should never have told you that's the only New Order track I don't own.
And Brazil are not going out like Germany. A day when the world champions have gone out. Brazil are going through. They're going through as Group E winners. As Serbia are going to be making a change.
Good game management role for the Brazilians. You know, when they finally did get that second goal, instead of being silly about it, instead of, doing what they did at the start of the second half, they've actually been very professional. They've controlled the game. They've held the ball. They've had the vast majority of possession, and very, very few chances for the Serbians to get in it. And suddenly the Serbians, from being really quite lively and sharp and tight, they're just, the shoulders are down. They've gone, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Kostic is now going to be coming off. They're going to be making another change. It's going to be Nemanja Radonjic who's going to be coming on. 22-year-old midfielder from Red Star. Made his debut only last November on the mini tour of Asia. He will be joining Roma eventually for a permanent deal, as Willian is forward. But that second goal has taken the wind out of the sails of Serbia. who did give it a go. They were rocking a little bit, Brazil, but with 8 minutes of normal time remaining, they're going to finish as Group E winners as Willian darts forward, takes the ball on with his first touch into the penalty area. Willian with a cutback, arriving Neymar down into the ground, right-footed over the crossbar behind for a goal kick. Brazil still lead 2-0.
Yeah, they're struggling a little bit now in the pace that Brazil have got off front, right side, left side, through the middle, you name it. The ball was played back there by Willian, who got to the byline, did the right thing, looked up, played it back. Neymar, it took a ricochet as it went back to him, and the technique of Neymar being able to go over that ball when it was bouncing so high, once again, it's off a scale. I mean, his technique is absolutely exceptional.
I was surprised though that you didn't have World in Motion on your extensive back catalogue of New Order songs, because after all it wasn't a football song.
You just wouldn't let it lie, will you? You just wouldn't let it lie.
Serbia 0, Brazil 2. 7 minutes to go to the end of the game. BBC Radio 5 Live. Pat will be staying on. Don't forget the World Cup Daily Podcast. Mark Chapman and Kelly Cates, been so popular throughout the tournament. Robbie Savage back with you at 8:30 for his daily World Cup breakfast show. And then, of course, Rachel Burden on air from 6, bringing you all the flavour in the early hours from Kaliningrad, ahead of the game that will decide who tops the group tomorrow. We'll have commentary with our correspondent John Murray and Chris Waddle. Brazil lead here by 2-0. Willian keeps the ball in play. No, he didn't.
I would agree with you, not the assistant referee in that one. I think he did keep the ball in play. I don't think the entirety of the ball went out there, but they look much like, but you do look livelier when you're 2 goals up and you're comfortable and you know that you're through to the next stage of the competition. Whereas you look around at the Serbian players, and you have to applaud them for the effort they put in, and I think their fans will stick by them and applaud them for this as well. But it would seem to be that the 2 goals they lost against, there was a Shaqiri got both of them, in Switzerland. That's what's cost them. Not tonight. No. That's what's cost them.
And that was they were the first side to Switzerland to come from behind to win a game at this tournament. But bearing in mind that it was Yugoslavia up until 2003. Serbia have failed to reach the knockout stages in their last 2 World Cups. 2006 in Germany, South Africa 2010, and here coming up short again as Switzerland will be joining Brazil in the knockout stages from Group E. Going to make a third and final change, and it's going to be the young striker Luka Jovic who's going to be coming on for only what will be his second appearance. This will, from a personal point of view, bearing in mind he made his debut against Chile earlier this month in the game that they were beaten, he will be coming on for his competitive debut for Serbia. But just over 5 minutes remain, and the Brazilian supporters once again are doing the olays as they lead 2-0. Still 1-1 in the other game.
One of the things to look at also, the Brazilians, they do look very, very sharp and lively at the moment. They've got a couple of injuries, in fact 3 injuries they've got now. The players that are on that field are looking really sharp and lively at the end of this game. And maybe Gabriel Jesus more than anyone else. He's annoyed us a few times with his antics in this game. But having said that, to be fair, Neymar's not been bad, has he, today?
No.
Neymar's got himself up, got on with the game, not throwing himself to the ground too often. There was one roll right beside us, at the start of the game. Other than that, to be honest, his behaviour's been absolutely fine.
I'm sure we'll get the thoughts of Tim Vickery as well at full time when we hand back to Kelly Cates in our studio in Red Square as Willian, midway through the Serbia half, pings the ball out towards Neymar. Accurate pass, Neymar's on the attack, Neymar cuts inside, doesn't go to ground as he was lent into there, with his back to goal inside the D, looks to try and turn, can't get a sight of goal, back heels the ball to Willian, Fernandinho tries to scoop it forward, there is Neymar, he just tried to take it past Stojkovic, but Stojkovic stood tall and swatted the ball down to thwart Neymar.
You got to say it's very good goalkeeping from Stojkovic there. But it's well read by Neymar, gets himself in there, gets to it first, not too dissimilar in some ways to the Paulinho goal from a different angle, but this time Stojkovic gets the big paw up there, and to be honest, he's just lucky, he's just thrown his hand up there, but he's got it.
But when I mentioned Tim Vickery, the point I was about to make is that Brazil have faced criticism back at home for some of their performances in the group stages as Serbia attacked with Kolarov. But the other thing is that despite the criticism, despite being under scrutiny, they are a side that are now going to go 14 games unbeaten in all competitions. Kolarov with a cross left-hand side, comes out to Matic. Matic with no real desire, went to try and meet that ball as it came towards him, loops into the penalty area, headed away by Thiago Silva. Their last defeat was the 9th of June
2017. Tadic to Mitrovic, shot charged down by Fernandinho. Good close block in by the Manchester City midfielder. Matic can't get through there. So when they lost to Argentina last June, that was their last defeat. So they're into the knockout stages with momentum, and that's the only defeat for Tite, their coach.
And then you look at it, you think there's still more to come. Actually, I still don't think they're playing at their very best yet, and there've been periods in the game where they've looked really good. When they're comfortable, when they're relaxed, I think they do look absolutely unstoppable. But it doesn't always look like that in games, and when they're put under a little bit of pressure, that's why I asked the question. And I don't know who it's going to be. Is it eventually going to be England or whatever? Someone's going to put them under pressure and say, right, we're going to try and push you high, and we're going to close you down at every opportunity, and see how you cope with that. Because of that 50, by the way, it's easy to say that, but it's hot in this country, and it's going to be at the end of the tournament, so it's going to be tough being able to do that. But you get the feeling that's probably the only way to stop Brazil at the moment, because they have got that genius, or those numbers of geniuses to go and go to now and again.
Fernandinho forward, crosses the ball from the right-hand side. It reaches Neymar. Neymar in the penalty area, right-footed shot block, comes back onto his left foot, looking to turn, side onto goal. Serbia get a foot into the challenge. Zivkovic will bring it away. Meanwhile, there's been another goal. Switzerland, Costa Rica. Vicky Sparks.
And it looks as though Switzerland have bagged themselves a late winner. The substitute, Josip Dremic, although Costa Rica in the penalty area. Challenge. No penalty, says the referee. Or is he going to give a spot kick? There is controversy. Come back to me for that. But it's Josip Dremic who has scored for Switzerland, putting them 2-1 up. And the referee looks as though he has given a penalty. So Costa Rica may have the chance to equalise. In the end, it won't matter. Switzerland will still go through. They thought they'd won it late on, but Costa Rica may have the chance to pull it back to 2-2 with this penalty.
Thank you, Vicky. We will come back to you once it's taken. Switzerland at the minute lead by 2-1. But as you say, it won't make any difference, because Brazil will be going through as Group E winners. And a penny for the thoughts of Luka Jovic. Mentioned him about 2 or 3 minutes ago, thinking he's going to come on. He eventually does come on for only his second appearance, his competitive debut, and it's here at the World Cup finals as he replaces Mitrovic, the 20-year-old forward from Eintracht Frankfurt, as they're still yet to take that penalty kick. So Serbia trailing by 2-0. The ball cut back, cleared away from inside the 6-yard area by tumbling Thiago Silva.
To be fair, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. The changes they've made, all the players have come on, they've worked hard, they've still created the odd chance. But when Brazil break at the moment, the pace that Jesus has got, and Neymar on the ball, we know what Williams get good pace as well. They look as if they could be really found out if Brazil get the ball in that sort of area again.
Some empty seats now away to our left-hand side, where that strong Serbian support are. Some of them have decided to leave. The Brazilians aren't going anywhere, because every time Neymar gets on the ball, and he's looked extremely sharp tonight, lively, as the move breaks down. Casemiro caught in possession. 3 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. Zivkovic now right-hand side of the penalty area, look towards Jovic. And was the penalty not awarded? The penalty wasn't awarded in the end, so they consulted VAR as the cross comes in. Let's get an update from Vicky, who's watching that game.
Yeah, it's confusing. Switzerland still leading Costa Rica 2-1. The penalty initially was awarded, but it's been ruled out by VAR for an offside, which was the correct decision. So no penalty to Costa Rica. Switzerland 2, Costa Rica 1, and Switzerland heading through as runners-up.
They're on the attack, Brazil. Augusto. Jesus to his right, Neymar to his left. It actually goes behind Jesus. But the industrious Willian will keep the ball in play for Brazil on this near side. Velkovic has gone with him, he's level with the penalty area. We're in added on time. 3 minutes. Fernandinho low ball. Cut out by Milinkovic Savic. Forward now onto this near side, and coming forward is Radonjic. Radonjic with a little bit of pace. Over the halfway line, cuts in field. Radonjic has done well. Spreads it out to Zivkovic. Zivkovic now right corner of the penalty area. Is there a consolation as he lets one fly? Well wide. Goal kick. Brazil still lead 2-0. And a wicket at the cricket. Eleanor.
And England well on top here. 222 the target for Australia. They're now 64 for 3. Moeen Ali taking the wicket of Travis Head, caught on the boundary by Alex Hales for 15. So Australia, every time they start to up the rate, lose another wicket. They're 70 for 3 after 8 overs.
England well on top. There was a lovely montage to Five Live Breakfast the other day after England had
thumped Panama. They kept on playing the wickets from the cricket, the goals from John Murray, and it was one of those weekends where you just thought, probably to the annoyance of Pat Nevin, England are just enjoying sport at the moment.
Just stop telling people I've got an anti-English. There's no anti-Englishness about me at all. However, I don't happen to own a certain song by New Order, okay? Don't associate me with everything else that's anti-English. I don't feel it.
Here is Fagner. Serbia 0. Brazil 2.
I might start feeling it if you keep on going on.
All right, okay, I'll let it lie. Back to Vicky.
Where Costa Rica do have a penalty, a separate incident. Switzerland leading 2-1 and heading through even if Costa Rica score this. Joel Campbell fouled on the very edge of the box by Zakaria. The referee deeming it to be inside, so Brian Ruiz steps up, he hits the bar and it rebounds off the unfortunate Sommer and goes in. So Switzerland 2, Costa Rica 2. That won't change the fact that Switzerland will still go through to the last 16. Drama later.
Yes, where they'll meet Sweden in St. Petersburg next Tuesday afternoon. Brazil will go through as Group E winners against Mexico, and the final whistle has been blown. And Brazil maintain their record of topping the group ever since 1978, the 5-time winners, a goal in each half. Paulinho latching on to a superb pass from Coutinho for the first goal 10 minutes before half-time. They came under pressure, and Thiago Silva with the goal, a thumping header midway through the second half to give them a little bit of respite, to seal their passage through to the knockout stages and eventually quell a spirited Serbian attack. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, they worked really hard in the start of the second half of the Serbians. I think, Brazil's own fault. They just took it slightly too easy. Serbia come back into it, had some great chances, fought well, but if you're looking at it player for player, and the better team won tonight, and the right team won tonight. The biggest shock about tonight for me is Neymar didn't score. He must have had 4 or 5 chances, mostly created for himself. If he keeps on playing like that, he'll be scoring again soon. No worries about that. They're actually probably just getting slightly better with every game, Brazil. That's a worry.
It is, on a day when it's a case of Auf Wiedersehen to Germany. The boys from Brazil are in the knockout stages and are unbeaten in 14 matches. Serbia 0, Brazil 2. Kelly.
We've had social media in on this as well, Archie, how Paulinho's gone from China to a goal-scoring starter for Barcelona and now an impact player for Brazil as one of the great career turnarounds. Jack said, and they said, moving to China is a bad career move. Paulinho with the first goal for Brazil, but created really, Pat, by Coutinho.
When I asked the question during the commentary, what's been the best pass of the tournament so far? I mean, that's up there. You could, certainly in the running for it. The fabulous pass that was made for Lionel Messi's goal the other night was pretty exceptional as well. So there's been quite a few of them, but there's very few players that have got that. A lot of people talk about the fact that England maybe haven't got that type of player that can play that type of ball, but we've watched Coutinho for such a long time. And by the way, I tried to say Coutinho the way that Tim Vickery does. I can't do it. I'll just leave that to Tim. He knows what he's talking about. But he's a joy of a player. I'd love to see him getting a little bit more of the ball, to be honest, because it goes through Neymar a lot of the time. But tonight it was better. Tonight it was a better Neymar. Tonight it was a better Coutinho. Tonight it was a much better Willian, although still not firing at his best. I mean, you've got that sort of pace and that sort of creativity going forward. You know what? They've got a chance this time.
Let's talk then to Tim Vickery. You mentioned him, our South American football expert. John Daniels said on social media, Brazil have more pressure on them than any other nation, and it kills their game when they're winning and their confidence is up. The pressure reduces and you see what a good team they can be. James says Brazil growing into this tournament, getting better with every performance. Mexico were most impressive in their opener, but nearly went out today. Is that the case, Tim? Is it about Brazil shaking off some of that pressure and also growing into the tournament?
I agreed entirely with that comment that you read out there, and what we've seen in little phases Brazil really making the ball fizz and moving together as a block with pace and skill and trickery and surprise, but they've also had passages of play where they've oscillated, and we had one tonight in the first 20 minutes or so of the second half. And had Serbia got a goal, the game can unfold in a completely different way. So dealing with that pressure, you never know what the effect is going to be on the Brazil side. We haven't seen them have to chase a game yet, but there was plenty to admire from that performance. And I loved, and we're paying credit to the Coutinho pass for Paulinho, quite right, but that's worked. Brazil had a really neat thing going with Neymar sitting deep, just attracting 2 or 3 markers around him, and that created a channel for Gabriel Jesus down the left, and they used that channel. They nearly got in there. What did that do? It stretched the Serbian defence. Even William, who's all on his Pat Malone over on the right side, he's stretching the defence. What happens? The gap opens up between the centre-backs. How do they take advantage of it? Send Paulinho into that gap. So it's individual ability with a collective idea of play, and I think that is what is putting Brazil firmly amongst the favourites for the tournament.
We'll have more on that 2-0 win for Brazil in the next hour or so here on 5 Live Sport. Meanwhile, we're going to head over to Edgbaston, where Eleanor Oldroyd has not 1 but 2 wickets to tell us about.
Yeah, we've just seen Aaron Finch, the Australian captain, here this evening wallop at Moeen Ali for 4, and I suspect there's a great deal of frustration in that shot because he watched 2 wickets fall in the previous over by Adil Rashid, Alex Carey for 3, Marcus Stoinis for a duck. 80 for 5 Australia. They are chasing a target of 222, and they are nearly halfway through their overs now in the 10th over of the innings. And really this has been a story very much as we saw in the one-day internationals. Aaron Finch winning the toss, putting England into bat, then watching their batsmen absolutely destroy the bowling with Jos Buttler 61 off 30 balls, the pick of the England batsmen, and then they've lost wickets and they've never really got up with the rate. So it's looking pretty bad for Australia tonight. 81 for 5 after 20 overs now. Good news for them is that they can go home soon, and you can listen to this on 5 Live Sports Extra.
Ellie, thank you very much for that. We've already heard that Brazil have beaten Serbia 2-0 in Moscow this evening to go through top of their group to the last 16, but there are celebrations in Nizhny Novgorod as well. Vicky Sparks.
Yeah, Switzerland through as runners-up after a 2-2 draw with Costa Rica. They were second best tonight, but they won't care. And what's a World Cup game, Kelly, without a bit of VAR drama these days? It ruled out 1 penalty for Costa Rica for offside correctly right at the death before the referee awarded another spot kick for a separate incident. Brian Ruiz hit the bar with it. It bounced off goalkeeper Sommer's head and into the net. Bizarre end to the game. Switzerland had gone ahead through Jamaili in the first half. Waston levelled in the second with Costa Rica's first goal of this World Cup. Dremic thought he'd won it late on for Switzerland before Sommer's own goal from the penalty. So 2-2, Switzerland through to face Sweden in the last 16.
Let's talk Brazil now with Terry Butcher, who's been watching the game here in the studio in Red Square. It's a very organised, a very efficient Brazil, not necessarily adjectives we usually use to describe them. Are they working out how to get the lead and hold on to it, Terry?
Well, there was a doubt after the first game when they got 1-0 up and Coutinho scored that wonderful goal. Then they seemed to go off the boil a little bit, and then Switzerland got back in just after half-time and they sort of couldn't hold on to the lead, and obviously didn't score against Costa Rica 2 late goals. But I sort of think with Tim's quite correct in terms of we've seen them in fits and starts. When we have seen them gel and really turn on the gas is it's fantastic to watch. It really is. That's what the World Cups are all about. But there's a slight worry that they're not doing it on a more consistent basis. In Spain are the same as well. We saw Spain early in the competition as well, and we sort of saw some brilliance from them, but it was only in fits and starts. And I think it's a big danger to other teams that Brazil and Spain in particular haven't hit 4th or 5th gear yet. They're not so much in 2nd gear, but they are moving up through the gears, and that's what countries do when they win the World Cup. They do move up the gears throughout the tournament, and it's a worry for other teams that these two have yet to hit full power. They've yet to put the foot right down, and when they do, boy,
The official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
There you have it then, as far as Group F are now concerned. The results from that match is in Brazil 2, Serbia 0, and it ended 2-2 in Switzerland and Costa Rica. So the way that is going now, means that Brazil and Switzerland are through, Serbia and Costa Rica are out. And tomorrow is Group F's turn, with Sweden and... no, it's Group G's turn. And Group H's turn. Japan, Senegal, 1 o'clock. Also Colombia and Poland at 1 o'clock. Then you've got Belgium and England at 7 o'clock with updates from Tunisia and Panama. So, on a role-changing day then, Germany out for the first time since 1938. And Switzerland go home after a tough decision against Costa Rica. Goodbye.
The World Cup. This is SJ Radio.